Presenting Invention in a Noted Weed. This is another video in the series Secrets of Shakespeare's Sonnets. This is Sonnet 76. Why is my verse so barren of new pride, so far from variation or quick change? Why with the time do I not glance aside to new-found methods and to compounds strange? Why write I still all one, ever the same, and keep invention in a noted weed, that every word doth almost sell my name, showing their birth and where they did proceed? Oh no, sweet love, I always write of you, and you and love are still my argument. So all my best is dressing old words new, spending again what is already spent. For as the sun is daily new and old, so is my love still telling what is told. It is not what it seems at first glance. It hides a clever ruse about the writer's name, which is called his invention, like in his dedication to the long poem Venus and Adonis. In the context of the poem, invention makes sense only if you see new pride as something more than just pride. But what is this noted weed? It is a costume change or a disguised, as alluded to in line 2, with quick change. Therefore, we connect the slang term for clothing, weed, to change. Dressing in line 11 is another hint that the weed is a disguise. For another hidden authorship clue, add the line numbers the words appear on. The line sum clue suggests our interpretation of invention is also correct. It is a dressing. What makes the new pride noted? It is something written down. We can then say his weed/costume is something on paper. Therefore, the first two lines are about the poet creating a new paper name for himself by asking a question others may have posed to him. In the next two lines, he asks himself why he does not do things differently. Compounds strange is a metaphor for other forms of writing. These four lines need a closer look. The second quatrain. Why write I still all one, ever the same, and keep invention in a noted weed, that every word doth almost sell my name, showing their birth and where they did proceed? This first line asks another question. Why does he continue to write? All one suggests he writes alone or in solitude. Ever the same hides his real name, since line 7 says every word almost sells his name. Why do I see this word as sell and not spell or tell? The word would look like this instead of what it is, with a lowercase t. There are many more soft S's in the poem. In fact, there are 13 of them. Therefore, the word is sell and not any other word. The S in almost is a clue we are to read the letter as a soft S. We also have the word spend in two forms to confirm our reading. In another example of polyptyton, the word change is more confirmation because you get change when you purchase things with hard cash. So what about every word? Can we find clues in the poem what this means? I believe we can if we divide the poem into three parts. The first quatrain is about trying out new approaches to his name and his writing. The second quatrain restates the question and gives us a clue what he is doing to reveal his true name. The last quatrain and the couplet addresses his love directly. This gives us an example of triosyntomnia. 3 is everything. In part 1, the compositor has properly used two lowercase v's in the word verse and variation. In part 2, the second quatrain, the compositor has used three lowercase u's for the letter V in 3 successive lines for another example of the triosyntomnia principle. These are clues that the letter V is part of the puzzle. The two uppercase V's substituting for an uppercase W, and the word variation. I believe these allude to the uppercase V's in the word why. We return to the phrase every word to find the solution. Remember that it almost gives his name away. And if we see what to do, we go back to the variations on the lowercase letters. And we substitute the lowercase v's where they belong in ever and every. Now we try to find the name. This duplication of EVER is a clue. So is the italic letter E in every, which you can see is slanted differently from the next E. The rest of the E's on the line return to the Roman style, which is confirmation that this is an italic E. Yet, how are we to read every word? It depends on how we read the line. We can emphasize word to mean all the words he wrote, as in that every word doth almost sell my name. Or we can emphasize every to mean just that word, as in that every word doth almost sell my name. The italic letter E is a clue the second interpretation is correct. Now we are left with E very. But what is E very? To find a clue, we must break the puzzle rule that everything is in plain sight and we do not have to go elsewhere. There's only one sonnet which could qualify as a clue, number 124. Sonnet 124 connects to Sonnet 76 by the word weeds, another example of polyptyton. On line 4 in Sonnet 124, we have weeds plural, mentioned twice. Sonnet 124 conspicuously treats the letter Y as if it were an I twice, as in if spelt with a Y, and builded with B-U-Y-L-D-E-D, which conceals the word by within it. So, if we correct these words, it would stand to reason we could also use this corrected letter in the word every. So we get E, V-E-R, and I, which only makes sense if you shift the I. And you end up with I ever, or this, or this, I-E-Ver. For those who prefer a much simpler way to find the name, here is one. If we emphasize the word in this sentence, then translate it into Latin, we get verbum, which almost spells ver. Line 8 tells us that the name we found is who the writer is, in which he says that every word doth almost sell my name, showing their birth and where they did proceed. For the skeptics. The gematria sum of these letters, the two uppercase V's and the letters directly adjacent to them, is 66. In the Latin alphabet repeated count, 66 is V, V, V. We have seen this puzzle countless times. The gematria sum of these letters is 40. And sentence 1 has 17 words. Sentence 1 hides another 1740 allusion. Sentence 2 also has 17 words. And the gematria sum of the first uppercase letter is again 40. The gematria sum of uppercase letters in the complete sentence is 68, or 17 times 4. The 71st word is the pronoun I. 71 is the mirror image of 17. It is followed by 17 letters in a line with 33 characters representing the truth. And the line number is 3 times 3. The repetition of these 10 items are clues to count. Why, and so are examples of anaphora in which the word begins a line more than once. Also, we have 3 allusions to clothing: quick change, weed, and dressing, giving us the tria sunt omnia principle again. The sonnet is about concealing identity, sticking with writing the same forms of verse in solitude under the same paper name, hiding his name, a metaphor for his life story, in his words, and letting someone know his love, my argument, is ageless. Like each new day, it is old and yet new. The editors of this book, Sir Stanley Wells and Dr. Paul Edmondson, claim there is no autobiographical content in the sonnets. These clues say otherwise, and so do these words in the last quatrain and the last couplet. The poem refutes their contention the sonnets are mere thought experiments. Who is the man who matches the clues? 17, 66, VVV, IE.ver. Edward de Vere, the 17th Earl of Oxford. This is more evidence that he was Shakespeare. Thanks for watching. Stay safe.